Welcome back in. Southeastern 16. Chase Robinson here. Jay Greeson with you. And here we go. We're getting closer to college football season, Jay. And we're going to talk about some very important college football items today. Because, look, we got the EA Sports College Football 26 rolling out. We're sitting here doing this Wednesday, July 9th. For those who pre-ordered it, you already have it. For those who didn't pre-order, tomorrow is release day. And Jay, we were talking, I mean, this is a great opportunity for those like us who are fired up for football. You get a little taste of college football when this video game comes rolling out.
Look, we have transitioned from you and I'm older than you, so I grew up in the age where really felt like the start of college football was all the way back in May when Lindy's and Athlons hit the grocery store stands, and you were reading this stuff. And hell, those guys may have transferred by now. They may have portaled 3 times in today's modern age. So, and yeah, the Phil Steele magazine, you've got to have a decoder ring to figure out all his abbreviations and everything. I mean, I feel like Dick Tracy reading that thing. Ask your parents, kid, who Dick Tracy is. And I promise you he's not related to Dick Trickle. And I promise you I'm not being offensive. But the conversations now, you and I talked about it earlier this morning. We are all concerned about what the NIL future of college sports is going to look like. But if there is one bona fide definite pro in the pro and con column of NIL, it is the return of the EA college football sports franchise. And hey, unabashedly, I'm a 54-year-old dude. I will be at GameStop about 8:30 in the morning tomorrow, waiting for them to open up because I want to get my copy of EA Sports College Football 2026.
And you and a lot of other people will be in line tomorrow, I have a feeling. Yeah, look, we played these games, 2014 was the final edition that came out. But before we got all the, they didn't want to make them anymore, all the issues with name, image, likeness, things like that. But, you had the players that resembled the players that were on the team, different names, things like that. We get to play with the teams, with the players that play now. It's a totally different experience than what we were used to previously.
Well, and look, you could download the rosters or you go in and enter players' names, but when they've got Florida quarterback 15 who's left-handed and he trucks everybody who tries to tackle him, you get an idea who it is. When they have LSU running back 7 and he runs around the edge and trucks your corner and then outruns everybody else, it's Leonard Fournette. So, I mean, they were using – this is where the word likeness probably comes in the NIL conversation. And in truth, a lot of people may not know this, but the video game was the springboard that led to the Ed O'Bannon case, that led to what it became NIL, because Ed O'Bannon was walking the halls at UCLA looking for something to eat, and these rich kids were playing video games with Ed O'Bannon in the video game, and he's going, how is this even possible? So that's where the lawsuit sprung from, was the EA college sports basketball game.
Yeah, and here we are with some years later, finally getting it figured out. Sam Smith wants to let you know, Jay, you can get it digitally. You don't have to go stand in line at GameStop. I didn't even know there was.
The hell he says.
I didn't even know there was GameStop still open.
I need the hard game. I need in case it's not working, I can do the old Nintendo trick of blow on it to get it all fresh and ready to go. And no. Brother Sam, I know I'm an old soul to be 54, but the less I can do online, the better off I feel about it.
So as we get ready for this game to launch, we're gonna look at several different aspects. We'll look at players. We'll look at how they've ranked the stadiums. But starting with players, it's the player rankings and stuff Obviously, all the SEC teams will get to see kind of where the players stack up. But looking at kind of some of these player rankings, who are some that stand out to you as obviously the SEC a great showing in the game?
Yeah, and I think the first thing that jumps off the page, and I know this is not Big Ten 16 because that'd be too many even numbers in the title of a podcast, but the two best players in the country in the eyes of the scouts and the number crunchers that EA Sports leans on are both Ohio State Buckeyes. Jeremiah Smith, who I contend is the most polished and productive college wide receiver since Larry Fitzgerald was running patterns at Pitt, is the highest ranked player at 98 out of a possible 99. And then Caleb Downs, the former Alabama SEC Freshman of the Year a couple of years ago, and a first-team All-American last year at safety, also with the Buckeyes, is at 96. Now, I think they got it right on their top two ranked SEC players, and that's Anthony Hill, the Texas linebacker, 95 overall. I think he's an absolute monster, unbelievably experienced. I mean, this is his third year, and he's already played in 30 games, Chase. So
wow,
unbelievably productive. And then the conversation then goes at number 5 overall is Ryan Williams, and which Ryan Williams before Columbus Day looked like the best player on the field. And certainly regardless of what the field we were talking about, but the back half, whether that was some head scratching quarterback throws, whether that was, I mean, we know the quarterback play in the back half of the year for Alabama dropped off a little bit, or maybe the rest of the league started rolling coverage to him. But also this just in, did you know that Ryan Williams played most of last year as a 17-year-old? If I had to read that story
Really?
one more time, it was going to pass the story that everybody felt obligated to mention, that David Pollock and David Green played Pop Warner football together. I mean, dear Lord. Yeah, we got it. All right. So, yeah, he started the season at 17. But I think both of those guys are special talents and elite guys. But the whole list of players is dotted, your top players across the EA Sports spectrum, with, as you would expect, a whole lot of SEC dudes.
Yeah, so you mentioned Anthony Hill Jr. He's 95 overall. Ryan Williams, the 17-year-old, is 95 overall on his rating. South Carolina edge rusher Dylan Stewart up there towards the top. He's 94 overall. He's the number 7 player on the rankings in the game.
And then a Tennessee DB is right there with him. Jermod, golly, his last name just jumped right out of my head.
McCoy.
Yeah, Gerard McCoy. And there is, and then Caden Proctor also in the top 10. So the SEC has half of what EA Sports views as the highest ranked players in the game. So, and if you're a South Carolina fan, you take great heart that Dylan Stewart is viewed that highly, because for me, how do they replace all the difference makers they lost in that front 7 will determine whether this is kind of a reload year, because you got the quarterback in Lenore Sellers, but there are some other question marks, and that makes me feel really good if I'm a South Carolina fan.
Yeah, that is for sure. The number 13 overall player is offensive lineman from Texas A&M, Armaj Reed Adams. The number 15 player, Colin Simmons of Texas. Then Vanderbilt's tight end, Eli Stowers, 93 overall. He's the number 18 player. So Vandy getting one in there as well.
If we polled most of the people on who is Vandy's highest ranked player, do you think we get like 93% Diego Pavia?
Oh, 100%.
And it is Eli Stowers, who I think is going to be a first 2-day NFL draft guy whenever he decides to enter the process.
Keldrick Falk, the from Auburn edge rusher, He's number 23 overall, number 23 player, 93 overall. And then Perkins, the edge from Ole Miss, is the number 27 player. He is number 93 overall. Those are the SEC players, the top 10 SEC players. Do you feel like any SEC players got snubbed a little bit and should be in that list of top 10 SEC players in the game?
Well, there are a couple things that jump out. And one, there are no quarterbacks ranked higher than 92.
Yeah.
So, and then 92 in terms of just ranking them by their overall ranking is 28 out of in the top 100. And the quarterbacks that got a 92 are Clemson's Cade Klubnik, Drew Aller at Penn State, and Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. So that tells you what they think about the rest of the high hopes and guys around the SEC with all the quarterback conversation in terms of Arch Manning, in terms of a DJ Lagway, because after those three quarterbacks at 92, the next one's Carson Beck, the Georgia transfer, at 91. So What a lot of people, and you hear this a bunch on the national talk shows, talking about how this was not a super great draft class for quarterbacks and how next year is perceived to be a great deal deeper. I mean, the EA Sports folks, and a guy's name that you and I, when we were kicking around quarterback conversations, and this guy there was a whole lot of divided opinion at that next tier down at 91 overall is John Mateer from Oklahoma, who a lot of people in our chat were either super high on or saying he's the most overrated guy in the league. And he's got the same ranking as Lenora Sellers, who's a guy a lot of people think could be in the conversation for round one, pick one.
Wow. Yeah. Just kind of thumbing through these, looking at it is interesting, the kind of where the quarterbacks are on this list. I'm going to give you a couple of names, Jay, and I want to get where you think they should be ranked. What number would you put beside Jackson Arnold?
83 or 84?
Yeah, I was going to say like 85 or something. So yeah, in that range. Let's see. What about Ty Simpson?
Probably 82, just because we've seen at least a little of Jackson Arnold. We have not seen a whole lot of the comps of what Ty Simpson can be, yeah. It's a lottery ticket when you're trying to forecast these numbers. Case in point, because of my history of playing this game, in 2010, when Cam Newton became that guy, if you played the 2010 or the 2011 EA Sports game, Cam was like one spot ahead of the rest of the quarterback room. Because if you remember correctly, Auburn didn't name a starter until preseason practice. So the game had already been released, and they just had Cam was like a 78, 79, 80, 81, and then the backup quarterback was like 80. So, it was, and then he turned in what I can argue is the single most load carrying season in the history of the game.
Yeah, that's very true. For those watching, drop a name in the comment if you want us to give you our what we would rate them in the new video game. So you can drop that in the chat. Give us a super chat as well while you're there, and we will most certainly get to your comments. But to drop those in here today, and it is interesting seeing what all they're doing and how they've got this laid out. and obviously, again, a lot of excitement around this. Any player that comes to your mind, as you've been looking through these lists, that you're like, man, they should be on here. They should have X rating.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, the top 100 players have a ranking of 91 or higher. And just so that we close the circle, Arch Manning's overall ranking is 90. And so he's right there on the cusp of being in the conversation. I'll tell you the one that jumped off the page to me, Chase, was if you look down, I think the highest ranked SEC running back is Ahmad Hardy from Missouri, the UL Monroe transfer, who a lot of people, I mean, Phil Steele had him all SEC. Greg McElroy has him in the his top 10 running backs in the country. I mean, it is a guy, Ahmad Hardy is going to be a problem for people if he can stay healthy as Missouri tries to move beyond the Brady Cook era.
Yeah. Here's a name for us of all-time great. What for as far as Joey Aguilar goes, what would you give him?
Wow. I wouldn't give him much lower than anything I would give Jackson Arnold, just because we've got more film and the conversation of really great pass production. Joey Aguilar, looking it up on the internet, I mean, I said Jackson Arnold, what, 83, 84?
Yeah.
And Joey Aguilar's 82 in the game with 83 speed and 89 throwing power. So, and again, this isn't science. This is projection and conjecture. But this is what SEC football talk is on July 9th.
Right. Yeah. It is most certainly. So yeah, drop some names in, and we'll give you our thoughts on those guys. Appreciate you, of all time great, for dropping that one in there. He also asked you what is Nico rated? Do you have that in front of you?
I will in a second. And I gotta believe that's higher. Now, will he have a better year? I don't know. I don't know how UCLA is going to use him or how he's going to excel out there, but it is, what a strange story that guy is. I mean, it's going to be, that conversation is going to last all the way through Nico Amaliava, an 88 overall. He is the 16th highest rated quarterback according to this video game.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting that, I mean, the conversation, again, you and I went live as soon as that news broke on a Saturday morning, and I think I was in my jammies. But Nico has given the Joey Aguilar the best gift there is. He now has plausible deniability that Joey's doing the best he can on cramming for a test that's going to be really hard.
Yeah, that is for sure. Before we go any farther, we got to tell you about our friends at GameTime Sidekicks. You just saw, if you're watching here on YouTube, Jay drink out of his GameTime Sidekick. There you go. You need to get one just like that, or for your favorite team, because they have officially licensed stainless steel drinkware. All the SEC schools plus 350 more universities, top of the market quality as far as construction, ice retention. They got the double wall vacuum insulated stainless steel, all logo printing and product decoration done in Knoxville, Tennessee. Tons of designs. I've got that college vault line, everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce plus bottles and shaker cups. And you, the viewers, get a nice discount, a 20% discount. Promo code SE16, SE16 for the 20% discount there. GameTimeSidekicks.com, promo code SE16. And of all-time great said, hey, we about made him drive off the road with that 88 ranking for Nico.
Don't do that, of all-time great. Don't do that.
So we're
Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Well, I think there's going to be a handful of dudes who overachieve that you don't see coming. You mentioned the name Ty Simpson. Be real interesting to see how they view Gunnar Stockton, who did have at least some film, and I don't think he played badly in his short stints. And but then you've got a guy like DJ Lagway, who's not in the top 100. And I got to believe there are a whole lot of college football programs who'd be lined up if you're lined up to trade for DJ Lagway. You know it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Want to flip gears on the video game to stadiums, because that is something that is featured in the game. I've seen some of like clips people have put out. It looks great. The stadiums do. And that's going to be interesting to me. And we're going to look at the list that they have put out of how they've ranked the toughest places to play. And it's changed up from what it was last year, but going on the road apparently is going to be pretty tough in this game.
Much tougher by everything I've read and heard, especially if you're trying to kick a meaningful field goal. I mean, apparently it turns it into, I mean, you'd have a better time trying to catch a feather. And so, but I appreciate that. I appreciate degrees of realism and degrees of difficulty. Otherwise, you're done with it in a couple of months. But I love this list in the fact that they are valuing that, because it's such an important part of the game that we love in college football. And I mean, the common betting refrain is home field advantage is worth 3 points. I say home field advantage in college football is worth 6 if it's one of these places that we're going to talk about. And I react accordingly. And you mentioned how it's changed up from a year ago. By all accounts, they had LSU and Penn State who are ranked 1 and 2 in this conversation way too low last year. And did they overreact? Maybe. But I think LSU, and I'm not wearing my purple today because it's a tribute to the LSU Saturday night and red stick type of conversation. But I mean, everybody knows going down there after dark is a dangerous situation.
Yeah, it is. And Tiger Stadium is the toughest stadium to play in college football 26, followed by Jay mentioned it, Beaver Stadium there in Penn State. The third is Ohio Stadium, home of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Number 4 is Sanford Stadium there in Athens, Georgia. And number 5 is Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, home of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Do you like those 5 the way they have them?
I like them because if you're going to say they're the toughest places to play, I think, one, they're all huge. They're all right around the 95+ thousand seat marker, and a couple of them are in the 100,000 capacity. I think Georgia and Alabama, in some ways, depending on the opponent, can get a little listless. But the talent at those 5 programs has been so great over the last handful of years. It's going to be tough to play those teams if you're playing at your neighborhood Y. I mean, because that's always going to be tough. So I don't have an issue with that. And I will say this, the ceiling of those places in a big game, they're so electric. And a lot of them were, especially what Alabama and Georgia did, kind of being ahead of the curve a little bit with the laser light shows and the cell phone lighting and all that stuff in recent years. It's part college football game, part rock concert.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Looking at the rest of the top 10, they've got Memorial Stadium at Clemson, home of the Clemson Tigers, at number 6. The Swamp, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida, 7. The stadium for the Oklahoma Sooners, Gaylord Family, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, is number 8. Oregon Stadium is number 9. And then Michigan Stadium, the Big House there in Ann Arbor, Michigan, is number 10. I thought the Swamp would be maybe one higher than 7.
Well, I think Clemson and the Swamp both have talking points and recent ups and downs. I think the most overvalued one here is Oklahoma, to be honest. And again, I mean, of the 16 SEC teams, I think I've been to 12 of the home stadiums, and Oklahoma and Texas are among the. No, I've been to 13. Oklahoma and Texas, and then I have not. I've seen Arkansas play, but it was in Little Rock, not Fayetteville. But I've been to every other SEC stadium. So, I mean, great tradition there, but I mean, I don't know how difficult it is. I'll tell you, the one right outside the top 10, or the 3 right there, 11, 12, and 13 are Texas A&M, Tennessee, and Texas.
Yep.
And all 3 of those are a challenge. I mean, I would put them ahead of Oklahoma. I would put them ahead of Oregon. I mean, Oregon's a tough trip, but I mean, you're not talking about the breadth and the scope and the size of what, man, Kyle Field rocking is a different animal, man. I am not afraid to tell you. Saw Auburn play there a handful of years ago in what was a great college football game. Kyle Field rocking is special. And if you're going to go and make that road trip, get there Friday night to make certain you see all the pomp and circumstance that goes on. The Aggies, the 12th man, all of that, that's a whole lot of fun, brother.
Yeah, that's something I would love to be able to go do one day. But yeah, I was a little surprised, especially A&M and Tennessee were 11 and 12 on this list. I thought one of them, if not both, could be top 10 type places. They've got, looking at other SEC schools, they've got South Carolina, Williams-Brice Stadium at 16, and then they got Jordan-Hare in Auburn there at 17. 2 tough places to play. I've been to Jordan-Hare many a time at night. I know you have as well. That can be a rocking atmosphere.
It is, but I don't have a problem. If I'm going to critique, if you're going to tip the visor to the talent level of the top 5, I mean, Auburn's recent struggles, the venue is almost always packed. The crowd is into it. It is, especially at night, a great environment, but I don't know how tough it's been to play the last couple of years of the Peyton Thorne era.
You're right. And then the only other SEC team left on this list, the number 25 toughest place to play is Davis-Wade Stadium at Mississippi State.
I think there are going to be a lot of SEC folks who have an issue with this. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's going to sound great on the video game where they ring cowbells all throughout the game. But I don't know. I mean, start thinking of the stadiums left off of this, and whether it's in the league or not in the league. It's tougher to go to Lane Stadium at Virginia Tech than it is to go to Mississippi State, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tougher to go to West Virginia than it is Mississippi State. It's tougher. I mean, I know the cowbells mean something, but think of all the other Big Ten schools left off. I mean, Nebraska's not on this list, even though they're starting to rebuild with Matt Rule and company. Kansas State is a hard-ass place to play. I also don't really think NC State deserves to be on this list. And I'm surprised Boise State's not on this list.
Yeah.
And I'm also surprised Notre Dame's that low.
Yeah, I thought Notre Dame would be higher. I definitely agree with you about that. But it's going to be interesting to see as this thing gets rolling out, as many people will be playing tomorrow. I'm curious to see the percentage of people who are not at work tomorrow to stay at home and play this video game.
You're talking to one. As I told you this morning on your radio show there in Alabama, if Southeastern 16 is going to need me to do a pod tomorrow afternoon, I'm starting to feel a little under the weather. So it is. It's one of the conversations that I think is funny, and you go accordingly.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I don't have a video game system, and haven't for a long time, but I do get to play it some. I know my brother's going to be getting this game. He's already told me, so we'll definitely be playing with him. But yeah, it's again, like we talked about at the top, it gets people excited. We're in early July, where there's not much going on. You're getting to learn your players, and learn these teams. So, Jay, give us what is your first action when you get the game? When you pop it in there, who you playing with? Take us through Dynasty mode for Jay Greeson.
Well, it's Dynasty mode. It'll be Auburn all the time. I don't play anything like that outside of it. I'll play head to head, but I almost feel like I'm cheating if I don't play Auburn even head to head. So if you're a Georgia fan, you're going to wear me out because your talent's better. But it'll be locked and loaded as soon as I get back up Signal Mountain from downtown after I get done with my morning column for the Times Free Press. But one of the things we talked around and kicked around, the coaches are going to be in it this year.
Yes.
And I've got the grade and prestige of the SEC coaches in the EA Sports video game spectrum. And there are 5 coaches who get an A+ in prestige among the 16 teams in the SEC.
Okay.
How many of them can you name?
Oh,
well, the first one's easy. He's in Athens.
Yeah, Kirby.
And he and Kirby and Dabo Swinney have the highest level at 80.
Okay.
Among all the coaches in college football.
Sark.
Sark is at A+. He's viewed as the second best coach in the SEC.
How many did you say? How many am I guessing?
5.
Here? 5. Okay. So we got Kirby, Sark. DeBoer.
DeBoer got an A+. Third best coach in the SEC, according in the EA Sports eyes.
Brian Kelly.
A+. Tied with DeBoer, I guess, for third in the SEC.
And
then my guy, Lane Kiffin.
Oh, Lane Kiffin. Okay.
And we talked about this on your radio show because we were wondering what Hugh Freeze was going to get. Hugh gets an A, along with Josh Heupel, Billy Napier. Then an A- is Elko, Stoops. B+ are Shane Beamer, Eli Drinkwitz, Brent Venables, and Sam Pittman. All B+.
Wow.
So it's clear they're trying to do whatever they can to keep some of these coaches happy. Although I can see Drink and Beamer being less than pleased to be behind Freeze, Elko, and Stoops.
Yeah. Yes. So I found this. I saw this on Twitter yesterday, and I'm going to try to pull this up. It's Billy Napier in the video game. Let me see if I can get this up. Yeah.
Oh,
This is again, I found this on Twitter, but that is Billy Napier in the video game.
wow. What time's the
Yeah.
skinhead meeting? I mean, that's just terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
Mrs. Napier's not going to be best pleased with that photo.
No, I was I thought that one could have been done better. I haven't seen any other one. That's really the only one I've seen floating around out there, but yeah, I thought that one could have been better.
I hope next week, as they are looking for content and headlines from SEC Media Days, I hope some enterprising young go-getter asks some of these head coaches what they think of, and they don't have to ask about their rating, because you know the answer is going to be, "Oh, I don't have time for that. I'm out here crunching film," and I mean, but ask them about, hey, are you happy with your image? Are you happy with because a lot of people around the country, that's what they're going to think you look like.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. There are a handful of coaches who are not in the video game. Bill Belichick, one of those, not in it. If you're looking forward to playing with the Tar Heels, Deion Sanders is not in it, surprisingly, with Colorado. Mario Cristobal.
That didn't surprise me, Chase, that didn't surprise me. They didn't meet his price.
That's true. Yeah.
Deion ain't doing jack for nothing.
That's very true. That is very true. Trent Dilfer from UAB, not in it. My guy, Charles Kelly from Jack State, he's not in it. But several coaches not in it. But all the SEC coaches are. There's none of the SEC coaches elected to be out of the game. They all want it in. They all want a piece of it, and they're gonna be getting some from it.
Well, and it wouldn't surprise me if Slive told him to. I mean, that dude, he's P.T. Barnum of the modern college sports era. He's spinning plates, making Red Panda right across the field. Let's get out a unicycle. I mean, that guy's trying to turn everything possible into extra TV broadcast portals.
Yeah, that's true. So that's interesting about the coaches. That rankings there. Not really surprised by any of them there. You mentioned SEC Media Days. Before we get out of here, you mentioned SEC Media Days. That is next week over at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. I believe Chris Lee will be there and bring you some coverage from that. Anything that you are looking forward to hearing, and again, we don't always get much out of this, but anything you're looking forward to hearing at SEC Media Days?
Well, it's such a crapshoot, and in the last handful of, I guess in the last day or so, they've announced the student athlete attendees. I think the absence of folks is just as telling as the presence of folks. Like, Alabama's not sending Ty Simpson. So that means Tim Keenan, Deontay Lawson, and Caden Proctor are going to be all asked, not only about, hey, how was your summer? What's going on with the quarterback situation?
Yeah.
So conversely, Gunnar Stockton is going to be there. Kentucky not bringing their quarterback in Zach Calzada. So again, I like how Lane Kiffin is bringing Austin Simmons, even though this is his first year as a starter. And Tennessee not bringing Joey Aguilar, which then makes the rehashing of all the Nico stuff and then the offseason thing story one, when Arian Carter, Miles Kiltzman, and Bryson Eason talk to the media. Arch Manning will be there. A little surprised Marcel Reed's not going to be there with the Aggies.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too.
And of course, Diego Pavia is going to be there. He needs to collect his rent check from Hugh Freeze because I'm not certain Hugh owns his own home because Diego Pavia is his landlord.
Yeah, that's true. Arch Manning, I feel like the buzz around Arch Manning, the amount of reporters that are going to be around. My first ever SEC media days, I was working for a local TV station as a reporter, so I was there. My first year was 2014, Johnny Manziel year, when he had just had all the issues, and he comes to media days, and the amount of reporters around his little table was unbelievable. And I feel like that's kind of what it's going to be with Arch this year. Everybody's going to want to talk to Arch.
Whether you knew it or not, you and I were probably standing in proximity all the way even back then. I'll tell you what would be a boss move is to send him in there with 2 bodyguards. Let them be in dark suits and sunglasses, and let it be Eli and Peyton. You want to talk about something that would set everybody's hair on fire.
It would. It most definitely would. That would be something.
Do the earpiece, do the FBI thing, have them getting out of a big black 2026 Suburban, and just play it up, man. This is what the summer should be about.
Yeah, for sure. So media days coming up next week. We'll see if we learn anything from that. Always interesting questions that are being asked. Again, I always spent time in the TV room because I was working in TV, and there was always just the reporters trying to get the players to do a coach impersonation or a mascot impersonation and things like that. You don't always get the most football worthy notes.
Well, nor should you. I mean, granted, there are a lot of people there trying to finalize depth charts, and guys who work for .coms and even newspapers who are trying to crash out content on a daily, if not hourly scenario about the sport that across the Southeast matters the most for a lot of us who do this for a living. But it can't be all, so coach, who do you think your backup left guard's going to be? I mean, okay. Yeah, there are people who care about that and people who will click on that. But, I mean, the coach's impersonation, what's your go-to lunch? I mean, some of those turn into great stories that actually lead to great stories. Yep,
that's true. So that is next week there in Atlanta. And again, I believe Chris Lee will be there with coverage from SEC Media Days. That'll do it for us today. Enjoyed the conversation. Everyone, enjoy your EA Sports College Football 2026. Jay, enjoy your afternoon tomorrow, opening up that game and playing.
Weather, Chase.
Yeah. Too bad you got to stay home tomorrow. Appreciate everyone for watching. Subscribe if you have not already. GameTimeSidekicks.com, promo code SC16. That will get you 20% off for you, the viewers. Thank you for watching today. More SEC football coverage coming your way. Basketball, baseball, we got you covered year-round right here on Southeastern 16. Subscribe, like this video, drop a comment. We'll talk to you next time here on Southeastern 16.